Yamiche, in and amongst all the back and forth with Donald Trump, you were actually trying to get to the heart of an important matter. The economy, which the president depends on for his popularity, insofar as that continues to exist, doesn't work the same for African Americans. And we have all the statistics to prove that. So you were asking a question about racial inequality, and he was asking with the economy. You didn't get what you were looking for there.
That's right. The president, even though it's been several days where we've seen protesters take to the streets in all 50 states, the president has never ever really talked about systemic racism and his plans, his specific plans for people's concerns. What we saw today was the president take a victory lap on the economy and say that we're getting better, when in fact he was ignoring the fact, as you pointed out, that Black Americans and Asian Americans saw an uptick in their unemployment. And when we talk about systemic racism, it's about the fact that George Floyd was killed by a police officer. It's also about the fact that Black people live in neighborhoods that are policed differently than more affluent neighborhoods where white people live. And then, of course, the schools in those neighborhoods then turn out to be places that are not equal. So what we see here is a confluence, almost a perfect storm of all sorts of racist practices that then turn into the fact that the police end up shooting a Black man more, or I should say disproportionately, than they would a white man. So what we see in the president is him not showing really compassion, critics say, to the victims of policing, but he's also not doing what protesters are demanding, which is actually giving them solutions and talking about what needs to change. He just hasn't done it yet.
But Zerlina, Donald Trump continues to tell everybody that he's better for African Americans in terms of prosperity. Let's listen to what he said today.
For Black, the best unemployment we've ever had.
Black poverty levels are the lowest ever recorded in the history of our country. No president has done more for our Black community.
One of the things I'm most proud about is what I've been able to do for the African American community. The lowest job numbers in the history of our country.
We've never had so many African American jobs ever in the history of our country by far.
Nobody's ever done for the Black community what President Trump has done.
And that, of course, that last comment was made today, but this is really over the last 4 months or so. Zerlina, who believes him?
No one, especially not Black people. And I think that one of the reasons the president does this, it's almost very cynical. He is not trying to win over Black voters, and he's not trying to win over our support by demonstrating all the things that he's done for us. One of the things he's doing is, because partially his rhetoric is overtly racist, he's trying to demonstrate to his supporters that they can feel okay about themselves, that supporting him doesn't make them racist. Because, see, Donald Trump said he is helping the Black people. Additionally, I think he does this to suppress the vote and continue to do what he has done in 2016. So I think there's sort of a two-pronged thing. It gives cover to the racist policies that he has been implementing since the beginning of his presidency. Now, I think this pandemic and protest movement that is built out of the police killing of George Floyd is an interesting moment to think of in a through line that goes back to the protests against the Muslim ban, the protests against the child separation policies, and the fact that what we're really experiencing here is a generational shift. And I don't think it's a coincidence that parents and a lot of college students and young people have been quarantined together for months, and they're seeing and able to discuss at least some of these inequities and systemic problems that Yamiche had referenced and asked the president about today.